Okay, Mom. We're back.
We're back.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, guys. New day, new episode. Let's roll.
We're really excited because we had such a good response to this question.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get into it,
Y'all
know what to do.
Y'all know what to do.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Ba-bam.
Follow us and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcast. How's Apple Podcast going?
Really good.
Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it. I think some people have said they're still having issues with the links.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's on Apple Podcast.
I don't know if that's like a link thing or if that's like a country thing.
Oh, that there's restrictions.
I feel like there is something like that is going
My
on.
bad,
I'm not
guys.
really sure what it is, but you guys know. Let us know. Just come to Canada.
Just to listen to the podcast.
Join us.
And make sure you're following us on socials, TikTok and Instagram. So we do have a new Instagram account. Unfortunately, our old one is gone, but y'all just join us in this one, okay? It's called Okay Mom Pod. That family is growing too. We appreciate you guys.
We really appreciate you guys. We've been through it, as y'all know.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys share our new Instagram account, please.
All right. Well, you will definitely see all the funny shorts there.
Yes. Everything is there, guys. Everything is there.
Hina, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a week.
Girl,
It has been a week. Oh, like, how did we even make it to this table today?
Guys, the stuff we had to do, the schedules we had to change.
You don't even know, okay? Like, the fact that people probably, they just give anyone podcast equipment these days.
Listen, you guys don't even know.
No, okay? I could give you the podcast equipment. I'd like to see you do this because it's not easy.
Yeah. Also, let's throw a bunch of kids in the picture first. Let's organize that part of your life and then see if you can do the podcast.
Okay, so before we start today's episode,
all right,
I have a fun segment we're gonna do.
Let's do it.
This fun segment is called Red Flag, Green Flag.
I
so
love
I'm
this one.
You a series of things about girls and boys.
Okay.
And you tell me if that's a red flag or if it's a green flag.
All right, and you gotta chime in too.
Of course I'm gonna chime in. That's just who I am.
We need Hina's commentary.
Splitting the bill.
That's a red flag.
Oh
my God, I did not even hesitate.
Like, okay, what's your thought on splitting the bill on the first date versus like now you're in a relationship and then splitting the bill?
Okay, I want to say, so money matters is such a touchy subject in a relationship.
People catch such feelings.
Okay? I just feel like if you're on a first date, fam, pay the bill. Okay? Don't even with the splitting nonsense.
Like, imagine you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, so your portion is like ick. I can't even say it without being like, I'm so icked out right now. Like, I just don't even know what to do. I would just, honestly, you know what I would do? I'd be like, it's all good. I'll pay the whole bill.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
And then I'll be like, peace, we ain't having a second date.
I would never have a second date. Like, to me, that's just like, oh my God, cringeopolis. Like, I cannot deal with that.
And look, I don't care what generation we're in. I don't care how progressive we are. Pay the bill on the first date.
And like, I would also say to the guys that are like, well, you know, it's a first date. We don't even know if we want to like have a second date.
Okay, then just go out for coffee.
Like, you can pay like $4. It's not that serious, right?
Nobody's going to Ruth Chris. Okay. Find a local, second cup.
Yeah.
Sit there and have a couple $10 coffee shop and you're good to go.
Like, you can do that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it's like, be a gentleman. Why is it so hard?
I don't know.
Why are the men complaining that it's hard to be a gentleman these days? Like, and then they want the girl that's like all feminine, but like you're making her be the masculine. You know what I mean?
No, we can't have
what?
That. We can't have that.
Stop this.
Yeah.
Stop this.
I think further on in a relationship, it definitely depends on like open communication between a couple.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whatever. If you've been together for a while now, and let's just say like whatever, you go out and you just tap your card. I think it's fine.
Like whatever. Yeah, that to me is whatever.
But I think like obviously develop that open communication in a relationship, okay, and just make it clear because again, money matters. People get
But I feel like the gentlemanly thing to do is pay. But that doesn't mean like, let's say you're together now and you've been going out and stuff, then I feel like it's okay if like the girl's working. Like, I'm the type that I'd be like, yeah, like I'll pay here and there. Like, I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't make me feel like especially if I know that the other person is like, they will take the initiative to pay.
Yep.
right? And you like you know that like that person will do it.
Exactly.
But like I'm also the type that's like it makes me feel uncomfortable.
If you pay?
Yeah, or if somebody else pays for me.
I see.
Like
I see.
I feel uncomfortable sometimes because I'm just like, oh my God, like I just don't like I feel like I don't know why. I just feel like I owe that person something.
But you're also used to doing everything yourself.
Yeah, that's true too. So I feel like in that sense, you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, every girl loves being wined and dined. Just gonna throw that out there.
Honestly.
Okay, so next one. Okay. He's a Brampton boy. Red flag or green? He's a Brampton boy. Red flag or green flag?
Okay, but if he's a Brampton boy and he hangs out at Ridgeway, that might be a red flag.
Okay.
That might be a pretty big red flag.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, I got nothing against Brampton people.
Honestly, I don't either.
You know, I got nothing against them. There is a certain type of Brampton person.
Yes.
That is a red flag.
1,000,000%. The ones that hang out at the Tim Hortons Plaza. Yeah. All red flags. Every single one.
The ones who like, I don't know, just pull up in their freaking Chargers and they're just
and rev their engines.
Yo.
And go in those rounds that they do, you know, like we got to drive around in a circle.
We don't need any of that. But there are some good Brampton guys. Come on.
100%.
We can't hate on all Brampton guys.
I actually don't hate on all Brampton guys. I think there's certain people, I mean, this would be men in general. This is also women in general.
Yeah.
Because like, there's like, you know, you could say that about either gender. So I'm kind of like.
But can the men in Brampton at least be better drivers? Because y'all, that shit's fazool.
But let's be real, the women are not that great. Like the last time I was like literally turning a right and this girl hit me from the back. And I was like, sister, I was stopped. About how are you hitting me when I'm stopped? Like it was random.
So somebody hit the back of my mom's car.
Yeah.
And it was like, she was just a student or whatever. And then she begged my mom. She was like, please don't call the insurance or whatever.
Oh my God, this girl did the same thing.
Yeah, but you want to know something?
What?
Because her license wasn't valid.
Oh, shoot.
So I don't know. There's some next scam running around right now with this stuff.
Scammies.
So let's get rid of all that stuff. People.
Let's get rid of all that stuff. Okay. He calls his mom every day. Red flag? Green flag? What's the deal, girl? What's the deal?
Okay. I think once a day is a bit excessive.
Okay.
But I think, 3 times a week is all right.
I agree with you, but I also think it really depends on who the mom is too.
It does, and it depends on the relationship too.
That's the thing,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to immediately say it's a red flag. Yeah. I'm not going to immediately say it's a green flag, right? Because if tables were turned, I call my mom multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So that might be a red flag to somebody else.
Yeah,
like, why are you calling your mom so much?
Absolutely.
But it's like, if you know, you know, and if you don't, I can't explain it to you.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if it's to the point where it's like you need to tell your mom every single detail of your life, like even like stuff in your relationship,
no,
you are a walking red flag, bro.
That's
like,
a red flag.
That's a red flag. I just feel like any issue that you have in your relationship should not be told to your parent.
And you want to know something?
What?
I've had so many conversations with other people when we talk about what to and to not share with your parents when you're in a relationship. So many girls say that they can't share, like, I got in a fight with my husband or like partner or whatever, or like he's mad at me or whatever, because she's like, our moms get so worried that they can't share those kinds of details.
They get so damn stressed out.
Yeah, because even if it's a little fight, like, oh, he didn't wash the dishes.
They're like, she's signing divorce paper. It's over. Start praying.
They blow it out of proportion. Okay, your moms are out here just reading nuffas all day.
You.
All day. They're like, मैं सदका दे रही हूँ तुम्हारा, ऐसे नहीं करते बेटा. Listen, we can't. So even for guys, don't be sharing things with parents because it does stress them out. And even for girls, they don't share things with parents. But if you do, I don't know, that's a red flag.
All right. Okay. This is about a girl.
Okay.
She says she doesn't want to live with your parents. A girl saying that to a guy.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Green flag.
That's a big green flag. That's a green flag right there.
Green ass flag. Okay. Her first question on a first date is, how much money do you make?
That's a bit of a red flag.
That's a red flag to me.
Like, that's a little inappropriate.
That is so inappropriate. Like there's like a tariqa, you know? Like you can shove it in there slyly. Like, so what do you do?
Yo, what's your job title?
How long have you been working in this position for?
Well, like on a first date, girl, don't talk numbers.
On a first date, that is so ick.
Yeah.
That's a ick. That's
Yeah.
a ick. Okay. He only eats mummy's kana.
No, red flag.
Red
flag.
Red flag.
Mummy's kanas are great. We know.
Yeah.
Because I'm obsessed with my mom's
Same,
food too.
same.
Okay? And there's comfort food that you grew up with that no matter what, that's your go-to.
Yeah.
But you can't only eat that.
Yeah, like you can't just be like, I don't really like what you made, wife. Like, I don't like this, so I'm gonna go to my mom's and eat her dal.
That's absolutely
I'd be like,
disgraceful.
take yourself. Go eat that dal forever because you're not entering back in this house.
Yeah. Or you learn how to make it then.
Yeah.
Why are we only relying on mommy?
He's really nice, but he's confused about whether to commit or not.
That's a red flag.
Red flag. I always say that, like, if he's the one, he won't even think twice.
Yo, if he like it, he put a ring on it.
If you like it, then he put her.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Because no, we don't need any of this. Oh, we've been in a relationship for 9 years, living together, but we're not married.
Yeah. Come on now. We need a little commitment.
Let's go.
Brothers.
Let's go.
Okay. He's flashy and he loves to wear designer. Everything. Like Gucci, Fendi. Prada. You know those guys that are like label.
And they have to get the shirts that say it all the way from one crease to the other.
And half the time it's like I went to Pakistan and got like a fake made.
They got it from the flea market on Albion.
Versace. Is it a red? Red. Okay,
Red.
I think that's an ick for me.
Yo, me too.
It's such an ick. Okay, even if it's like legit Gucci Prada, it's such an ick for me.
Me too.
Because I just feel like it's so dated.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we don't need to be the type that are like flash in your face, like, look at how much money I have.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Like, why can't you just be understated?
Yeah.
Just less is more, people. Yeah. All right, guys, that was our red flag, green flag.
I love
Send
this
us
segment.
your red flag, green flags. We're going to use them next time.
Ooh, I love that. Okay. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we asked everyone, what are some do's and don'ts in a relationship? Not necessarily romantic. Okay. We got some amazing responses and I want to open this up. Before I do though, what would be your like top 3 do's in a relationship? Again, not necessarily romantic, like something that works with you and your siblings.
Yeah.
Something that works with you and your mom, something that works with you and your cousins. Something that works that you know is just fundamental in a relationship.
You know what? I think like the biggest thing is like to have like really good communication. Because I think like if you can openly just say things, then you're able to just build better relationships.
I agree.
Like, for example, if you're upset about something, or if like you don't like how someone said something, or like their tone was off and you're just like, hey, like I just want to check in, like what did you mean when you say that? I think like that's really important, because I feel like especially in Desi families we don't talk about that stuff.
Yep.
It's very like sweep it under the rug. Oh well, she said something, sweep it under the rug. Or it's she said something and I don't like you forever and I'm gonna cut ties with you for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Like the amount of people that are like, yeah, I don't talk to my brother, I don't talk to my sister, I don't talk to this person, and I'm just sitting there like, y'all are cutting family ties off like
And it's over the smallest
over the dumbest stuff. So like even our cousin drama episode, where
Yeah.
it was like, why are certain cousins like that? Like for me, it's like, why can't they just say what the problem is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us what the issue is.
Okay, but let me ask you, like, I feel like it's been a while for me to learn this skill.
Okay.
Okay. And you have to let go of your ego when you're doing this. Okay. Because if somebody comes and is trying to have open communication
Yeah.
and they ask you, yo, what's up? But you tell them and you open up and you share with them, hey,
Yeah.
listen, I didn't like the way you said X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then the other person gets defensive.
Yeah.
And now it's causing an even bigger issue than
Yeah,
what the original issue was. What about that? And how are we supposed to figure or have open communication when you have somebody who's completely guarded and defensive all the time?
I feel like people in general are guarded.
Yeah, they are.
Because like nobody wants to hear bad things. Like I don't want to hear someone be like, well, I just think you're a really rude person.
Right.
Right. And internally you're like, but I'm not. So
Yeah.
I think it's like the approach and how you say it. So instead of it being like like you're accusing someone, you can just be like, I was really hurt because I felt like blah, 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 blah. But like, it's hard when you're in a conversation to talk specifically like that.
Yeah.
So you have to like learn the way to say that. But I also think like, if you know in your heart that you've said it in a nice way and they have approached it in a different way, you can always be like, I just want you to think about it and then maybe we can talk about it at a later time.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
Yeah. I feel like a number one thing that gets in the way of relationships is ego.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like if you are unable to let that go,
Yeah.
you're going to have problems in any relationship in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you have an ego,
Yeah.
then you can't see past it.
Yeah.
And now anybody who's trying to create a good relationship with you, you're always going to make it about yourself. Okay. You're never going to learn how to say sorry. You're never going to admit that you're wrong. And you might trample over people who you have relationships with in your life.
I think so too. I think like that thing that you just said about not being able to say sorry, that is like a big trigger for me.
Me too.
Because I'm 100% the person that like, I will own my shit till the day I die. Like I will apologize from morning until night. If I know that I messed up, I'll apologize. But then, when you meet people and like, they messed up and you still apologize because you're like, oh, let's just keep the peace. And then you're like, hey, I'm so sorry. And they don't say anything back.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
Ding ding, we're like, I'm about to get in the ring.
Yo,
At
for
that
real.
point, then I get angry.
Yeah, me too.
Then I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with you.
And you know what? But I feel like I wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it took me a while to learn how and when to say sorry, but also to accept the apology that's given to me. Because I feel like I was always told it's okay, keep the peace.
Yeah.
Right? Or just say sorry. Just say sorry.
Yeah.
And then when you end up taking on that role, you end up saying sorry just because you can't have confrontation.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, I don't want to have a fight. No, I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm going to get too emotional. Let me just say sorry and bury the hatchet.
So true.
The problem is, though, it builds up.
It builds up so bad.
And then a few years later, you're like, this person did this to me and that to me and this to me. And then what? Then you want to cut ties.
Forever.
Because you're like, oh, they did this. And as much as I want to go and blame the other person, you have to self-reflect.
100%.
Because I can't sit here being like, this person did X, Y, and Z, but it's like, did I tell them they did that? Did I say anything?
That's so true.
Right?
That's so true. I think that's the thing. Like sometimes you're just like, well, they should know.
But
like they should know that like
are
they were
they
so rude. And then now, like, you're so right. I do think you learn a lot with age too, like how to approach certain problems. But like, it's hard because like sometimes like if you're like, even if you're arguing with your sister, you know how like sisters just trigger you?
Yo.
Like they just trigger you. Okay, like me and my sister, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God. Like I'm trying so hard here. Okay. Like sometimes you're like, let me, like I'm trying to keep the peace. It's not even just sisters. It could even be like a husband or like a boyfriend, a brother, anybody. Okay. A parent. So like you're sitting there, like you're sitting there like being like, okay, I'm gonna open communication. Don't let your ego get in the way. And you're like doing this whole thing, and they're just sitting there like this, and then it's just like, but like you could have also changed the. And at some point when they keep being like that, then you're like, all right, that's it. That's it. It's coming out now. Like zero control. And then do you notice this with your siblings where like you feel like you have to have the last word?
Always. I'm like, no, but no, but this, that.
And sometimes I remember with my sister, she'd be like, okay, but maybe if we weren't so rude, and then she would walk away, and I'd be like, yeah, just like you, and then like you hear from upstairs, like, no, but you're the rude. It was just like you would go back and forth. You're not even in the same room and you're still fighting. It was like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, but you're so right. You have to let your ego, like remove the ego. I think communication is a big one. I don't know, like the other two, like to make any relationship work, like obviously like some level of respect.
Of
right?
course.
Because like you have to respect the relationship
and the
person. But you know what's hard? Sometimes it's really hard to respect somebody when you have felt disrespected.
Yo, that's true.
Right?
Too.
Like I would even equate it to like, let's say you're in like a relationship with like a guy or a girl, and like you feel like this guy has disrespected you and you have shown them everything, and like you've been like, I've been so ride or die for you. And it's hard because like in your mind you're like, I've been so ride or die for you, but then that guy is probably like, well, I haven't felt like you were ride or die.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like for you, what is considered disrespectful for him might just be like, well, I didn't think that was that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But you feel disrespected.
Yeah.
So like, how do you even approach something like that? That's also really hard.
And I think that falls into like, okay, so here's what I personally feel. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my times in my life, I didn't really say much.
Yeah.
I never really said much about like how I'm feeling or whatever. I also didn't really know.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to understand my feelings. I wasn't sure, like, did this bother me?
Yeah.
Am I upset? Am I making a big deal?
Yeah.
So I would let things just go.
Yeah.
But then the problem is it always built up.
Yeah,
And then
for
I
sure.
would blow.
Yeah.
Right? And now I'm realizing, and if, like a few years ago, I started realizing that I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So now, if you have somebody where, like, let's say the person is disrespecting you, I think immediately, if you know your feelings really well and you feel disrespected, just say it.
Yeah.
In the moment. Maybe it's gonna blow into something else. Maybe it won't.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he'll get defensive. Maybe he won't. Right?
That's true.
But if you say it, then he's gonna learn.
Yeah.
But if you don't say it, then 6 years can go by and he won't know.
But then what about the times when you do say something and the person that you're saying this something to is like, that's not what I said, or like, you just overthink everything.
Yeah,
and they
because
like
they
gaslight you. What about that?
Gas-
I know like everyone says like everyone's saying gaslight, everyone's gaslighting, but like actually that's like a real thing.
It is a real thing.
And like then you're like, wait, was it that serious? Am I just overthinking it because I'm too emotional? You know, like people are like that.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think there's an answer to that because people do that.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
I think you just have to realize with time, like, I think with time, you also know that, like, no, this is my truth. Like, I was hurt. I'm allowed to feel hurt about this.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, you can't tell me what hurts me and what doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what else I know? So some pieces of advice that have worked for me. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to work for everyone, but is like, I have categories of like venting, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. So like my first category is I just need you to listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't say anything. Don't give me advice. Just listen. Be the person that I can just vomit all over you.
Yeah.
Okay. The second, because that way, at least I get my emotions out. The other person understands where I'm coming from,
Yeah.
and it's not building up.
Yeah.
Right. The second one is I want you to listen to when I vent and
Yeah.
then give me advice.
Yeah.
Right. And if that advice works or doesn't, that's fine. But that way the other person can kind of give their take on it.
totally.
Okay. The third one is when I vent and I need that person to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like maybe if you can sort of categorize how you're feeling, then it doesn't all seem like you're being extremely emotional. Okay. It doesn't seem like you're going to cry every time we have an argument.
exactly.
It's not going to seem like you're coming from a place where none of this makes sense because you're talking about it now, but this happened 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally.
Maybe if you can categorize certain ways on how to communicate, that could be helpful.
I think that's amazing.
Right?
Like that's so amazing. I feel like that's like, especially in like a marriage or like a relationship, any relationship really, if you can just be like, listen, I'm about to tell you something, but I do not need your damn advice.
Yes.
Okay. Or like, listen, not only am I going to tell you this, but we ride at dawn. We're about to kick someone's ass.
Yo,
Like,
no body, no murder.
that's what I'm saying. So like, I feel like that's a really great way of saying it because normally I don't know about all girls, but I'm definitely the girl that's like, oh my God. And then like, sometimes I feel like if you're talking to a guy, guys are definitely fixers.
Yeah.
They're just like, how do I fix the problem for you? It's like, I don't need you to fix the damn problem. I just need you to listen to me venting.
Also, sometimes you're like, this isn't even a problem. I'm just filling you in.
I just want to fill you in on the scoop, okay? So we can hate this person together. But that's a really great way of putting it.
Right?
I love that. I'm going to use that.
So I think it's good. And I think I've also tried to transfer it in different relationships in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even with my mom.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll call her and be like, I'm just venting to you about like how my day went or something.
Yeah.
Or how work was or whatever. And then sometimes I call her and be like, Ma, you need to go and fix this.
Yeah.
Or do this.
Or I need
or
your
whatever.
help. I
Or
need your
help.
advice.
I need your
Yeah.
advice, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe initially if you can have that, then you know what it is? Because I know that this triggers men.
Yeah.
Then you're not airing out your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're talking about your partner, your husband. You're telling them, hey, listen, I'm going to vent to you. Let me vent to you so that
Yeah.
I'm not going and venting to my mom, my family, my cousins, my
Yeah.
sisters, or my friends. Then you're going to hear about it and you're going to be like, well, you're upset at whatever, your in-laws, but you
Yeah.
didn't come and talk to me about it. You went and talked to your friends.
Yeah, that's so true.
You don't want that either.
You don't want that either. Because then you know what happens? I feel like you become this like, they become like this voice box for your relationship.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, I don't feel safe in my relationship to talk to like the person that I'm with. So then I would rather go and tell other people because they'll help me sort my shit out.
Yeah. But you know what it is? And you talked about this or like in a few episodes ago, where sometimes like your immediate family is probably the best safe space that you have.
That's
right.
so true.
If you have a good relationship with them and they're here and all these things.
100%.
Because sometimes if you do go and vent about your marriage problems, okay, to a friend, you don't know what the interpretation is. You don't know who's going to hear about it.
And like I always say this, like the rule of thumb is if you tell someone something and they're married, just know that they're going to tell their spouse.
Yeah.
It's like a guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay, like I would say it's like 98%
Yeah.
that they're going to tell their spouse.
And sometimes some people, like, you'll realize when you have some toxic friends in your life, you'll realize they kind of thrive on that.
Oh my, 100%.
Right?
They
want
like
to
to hear how you are failing in life, okay? They're just like, finally, this girl's going down.
Yeah. They want to hear that, you know, the dishes aren't being done or the house isn't being cleaned or you're so exhausted because you're doing everything and he's not doing anything. They want to hear that.
They want to hear the scoop.
And it's like sometimes you need to protect your relationship.
You need to protect. I remember like there's certain people in my life where like I will literally just be like, I will pretend till the end of time that everything is perfect because I know these people thrive off of like seeing you like crumble.
Yeah.
Truly.
They need the gossip.
They need it. They need it. Like they need to see you fail.
Injected in their veins.
Injected in their veins. Okay. And just for that purpose, I'm just like, even if I didn't go to the moon, I'm telling them I went to the moon. Okay? Like that's what I'm doing today.
Hina landed on the moon, ladies
Hina landed
and
on the moon. She won a Nobel Prize. What didn't Hina do these days? Okay, so let's get into what other people were saying.
I like that.
Like we already talked about respect and communication. That was a really big one.
Yeah.
Which we discussed.
Yeah.
So the next one is like to remain kind even during an argument without disrespecting and understanding boundaries. I think, that can get hard.
That's hard.
But it's not wrong. What you're saying is not wrong. It's just like sometimes you're in a situation where you're just like, I'm so pissed off.
Yeah.
That, like I need to get this out.
Yeah.
And like if you are like I'm talking about like a relationship. Okay. Like an intimate relationship, like you're married or you have a boyfriend that you've been with for a long time. And like, let's say some shit goes down. Let's say in-law drama, because that is a trigger, okay?
Trigger.
Like, if you want anybody to get angry, in-law drama that, okay?
Yo, before your argument, be like, trigger warning.
Yeah. This is to do with your damn parents, okay? Immediately, like they need to like back off, okay? So I feel like in certain situations, if someone has done you dirty, like honestly speaking, if someone has done you dirty, and then you're sitting there like ruminating on this and you're just like, I'm so mad. I don't know how to handle this situation right now. My emotions are all over the place. I know people would be like, take a deep breath, take a shower, lay down, count to 10. I know people would say that, but like your girl, I can't do the count. Uruje, if I sat there and counted to 10, it would be like 1, 2, 3. Like,
she's counting 10 and it's building up more.
It really is. Like it's the countdown to the explosion. Okay. So I feel like I'm definitely the type that I would be like, I would say it. I would be really pissed off. And then after that, all I would need is somebody to be like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're okay. Or like to be like supportive.
Yes.
That, yeah, you know what? This is wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like for me, I'm like, I can own it. If I messed up, I'll sit here and own it.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like if I feel super disrespected, then I know that as much as I want to try to be calm, that emotions can get out of control.
Okay.
Like
can
I would say
also
this with
say
sisters
something?
too. Yeah.
Sometimes being calm is not the solution.
Sometimes thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I know that everybody's like, we talk about like, you know, all the trendy words right now. Toxic, gaslighting. Let's like take a deep breath. Let's meditate.
Vibes.
Yeah. Let's do the mindfulness.
Oh God. We use this all the time.
Okay, we are humans.
Yeah.
We are what is it called? Like a balloon of emotions.
100%.
Okay. You can't always try and like suppress them. And sometimes mindfulness and meditation and breathing and all of these things, they're not going to help if you're actually very angry about something.
Absolutely. Can we normalize that it's okay to be angry?
Can we normalize this, please?
Yeah. Like, let's be angry. Everybody start raging. Okay. Like, it's fine.
Yo, Hina's going to lead the troops.
Yeah. We're going to war, guys. Let's go. Take out your torches. No, but I'm serious. You're so right. Because anger is like an emotion. You're allowed to feel it. Like, it's besides the point if you're like slapping people up. That's different. That's different. You're going to go to jail. Control yourself. But if you're angry, let that shit out. Like,
Exactly.
let it out.
Exactly.
Like, say what
That's
you have
just
to
what I'm
say.
trying to say. Like, yes, maybe some people have extreme anger issues.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
talking about that, but I'm just saying sometimes in an argument, if you are with somebody who can't let their ego down,
Yeah.
okay? Let's say you're in a relationship, okay, you're fighting with your husband about in-laws, okay?
Yeah.
About, let's just say, like, whatever, a brother-in-law, okay? You're fighting with your husband about it. And you're getting upset because you know that they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. But your husband is unable to let that ego go and
Yeah.
listen to you for
Yeah.
a second. Okay.
Yeah.
And understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Are you really just going to try and calm down in that moment? Or
Yeah.
do you feel like you have to let it out and maybe show your anger to show the seriousness of the situation?
Absolutely.
If you do tone it down, if you do take a deep breath, what if your husband responds with like, well, it's not a big deal. She seems fine now.
Yeah. Or like, it's okay. They're just like that.
Yeah.
Or like, it's okay. They're older. Or why don't you go and have a sit down discussion with
Yeah.
them? And it's like, how do you do that as like a daughter-in-law? How do you do that? You can't just walk in and be like, listen, I want to have a discussion with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as easy as people think it is.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And like, let's be real, in-laws have a hierarchy too.
100%.
You gotta respect that too.
Yup.
So you can't just go up and show up in somebody's face and be like, "Oh, let's talk about this. This is
Yeah.
how you made me feel." What if the
Yeah.
other person is like,
They don't even get feelings.
"You
Like,
can leave"?
no, but like they don't understand that concept of like mental health, and like I don't think many of them do, because that's like our parents' generation. Like they didn't
Yeah.
even. It's unfortunate. Like, you know, you have to explain it to them and like teach them, but like
Yeah.
I don't think that they understand it to the degree that we understand it.
Also, if there is like a spouse, okay, it could be husband or wife, and they are complaining about in-laws,
Yeah.
I think the worst thing you can do as their partner is say that's just who they are. That's just the way it is.
Right.
I think don't say that. But I think this is my greatest advice.
1,000,000%.
Just don't say it and listen to that person and be like, "Oh, you know, like thanks for sharing how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe we can like figure out some next steps or something."
Yeah.
Because if you keep making excuses for that behavior,
Yeah.
that behavior is never gonna stop. And then your wife is gonna think I'm married into a family where like I can't change anybody's mindset. Though maybe
Yeah.
she even knows.
Yeah.
Maybe in the back of her mind she knows
Yeah.
because like she has parents and she knows
Yeah.
like you can't really change the mindset of that generation.
Yeah.
But just don't say it, because especially if you're newly married, she's gonna be like, okay, but you're not even like taking my side.
You're not taking that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you feel in your like marriage that like your spouse is not backing you up
Mm.
and like protecting you, yo, that is like, that to me is a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag
Yeah,
in a relationship.
same.
Because it's like, that's the man's job to like protect you and like keep you like good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, if you're doing all this and trying to build relationships and like he admits that something went wrong and like he can't even be like, okay, like I saw this with my own eyes and I'm not going to address it because like I don't have the guts to do it. Y'all.
You guys are on the same team.
Yeah. Start backpedaling that
Yeah.
day. Backpedal all the way back to your parents. No, I'm kidding. I feel like you have to find a way to solve that
Yeah.
because that is like horrible. I also think, imagine you said the same thing to him where like you messed up, let's say as a girl, you mess up, right? Like you say something out of line to like his parents and then you're just like, well, sorry, I can't change myself. That's the way I am. Like, you really think he would be like, oh, okay, that's all right. You know what I mean? That's just not, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
I also think like that line of like, they can't change who they are. And that whole concept of like, when people get older, it's harder to change. I get that. But if they want to change, they will change.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Like, they do a lot. Okay. Like, my mom's doing gardening. Okay. And I feel like she didn't do that before, but she does it now because she enjoys it. So like if she can learn a new skill at this age, and if they know how to resend those damn WhatsApp messages, those mass WhatsApps that all of our parents be sending everybody, the desi totke, like this is how you have better skin. This is how you prevent cancer. If they're sending you these and they've figured out a way to master those mass WhatsApp threads,
Yeah.
they can make a little effort to change. Okay, let's be real.
Which one is the worst? The one where it's like security footage of somebody stealing somebody's car from a driveway.
Or it's like those politics ones.
Oh,
Like you're sitting there like, oh God, Or like sometimes it's like they're funny ones.
Yeah.
The funny ones that they send, which is so cute, but you're also just sitting there like, wow, like this is funny. But like if I sent them my humor, they would be like, you're such a bish, son. Like, how did I raise this foul-mouthed child?
The amount of WhatsApp forwards I got on Eid.
Oh,
Bro, my phone was like,
it's like
the storage is full. The gifts are getting out of control, people. The gifts are getting out of control.
once they find the gifts, it's game over. It's over. It's
When
over.
they find the stickers, the WhatsApp.
Yo, I just like now, like it's like they found emojis and it's emoji everything. Emoji everything. Every emoji just being thrown everywhere. Sometimes peaches, I'm like, y'all don't know what peach is. Like, we don't need to be throwing those emojis out there. It's all good, you know, like we don't need to do these things. But yeah, it's wild out there. They can definitely change, guys. Everybody is capable of change if they want to change. So
I 100%, I'm with you on
the
that.
point that we were trying to make
Yeah.
was it's okay to be angry. Just don't kill someone. Okay.
Honestly, just I think this is also a lesson for us as parents, because we are working so hard to make sure that like our kids know how to regulate their emotions.
Yeah.
And it's like, I should also learn how to do that.
100%.
Right? We should also, as adults, learn how to regulate our emotions,
Yeah.
understand our emotions,
Yeah.
voice what we're feeling, maybe figure out why we're feeling that way, and then find a solution.
Absolutely.
I feel like if I can constantly tell my kids to be doing that, we should also try and do that as adults.
Yeah. I think if anything, it will help us be better parents.
Yeah.
And people.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
Like how many times my kids have a meltdown and I'll wait. I'll let them have their meltdown because I don't want to interrupt them either.
Yeah.
That's also a form of them showing what they're feeling,
Yeah.
right? But then I got to go back to them and be like, I want you to use your words and tell me what you're feeling and what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you feeling this
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
I just feel like we should all be doing that.
Yeah. Right. I need somebody to tell me that too. Like, what's wrong? Use your words, Hina. Use your words.
your
Like,
words.
I've been using my words. I've been using my words.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this one.
Okay.
Don't expect so much. It's not worth it. Protect yourself.
Yo, I feel like somebody got hurt real bad.
I know.
I read that. I'm like, yo, are you hurt?
Are you good?
Yeah. Don't expect too much. Protect yourself. I think in some scenarios, yeah. Like I feel like sometimes I think that way.
Yep.
With certain things.
I do too.
But I also think it comes from a place of like maybe when like this is from what I've read, guys. I think like, you know, when you're like one of those people that like does not want to have any expectations, it's because someone has let you down in the past, like in a big way. You know what I mean? So you feel like you almost become this person that's like maybe hyper independent, or like you're just like, I'm not even going to bother like putting expectations on other people because I know that nobody will meet that expectation.
Wow.
But it's not true. Like
I don't think it's necessarily true, but I can see and understand where that thought is coming from.
yeah.
I don't know. Part of me wants to be like, I don't know, like reach for the stars, people.
Absolutely. Why not?
In every relationship. I'm not just talking about like marriage, relationship, love, this,
100%.
that. I'm talking about even with your siblings.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, why not try and have the best relationship with them?
I agree.
Right?
I think why not? But like there's like certain number of people in your life that you're going to be close to, and life is short and fragile, y'all. Like make the most of it for the love of God.
I also just feel like sometimes when you don't expect something, you
Yeah.
end up falling for anything.
That's true too.
Right?
That's
so
true
it's like
too.
if you even, let's just say not even in a relationship, self expectations.
Yeah.
I expect myself to like finish school by this age,
Yeah.
or like lose this amount of weight,
Yeah.
or like learn a new skill,
Yeah.
join boxing. I don't know, like be more active, learn to cook, whatever your expectations are for yourself. Set those for yourself. And I feel like eventually when you have good and high expectations for yourself, you'll find that in a partner.
Right? Like
Because that's what you're going to attract.
Yeah. Like imagine you had no expectations when you were going into like a marriage process.
Yo, then any lallu is going to walk in your door. Your mom's going to be like, chalo,
Like
kar lo.
you would end up marrying the most faltu insan of life, honest to God. Like you'd be like, kisi ko bhi le ao. You'd like,
Shnakhti card dikha do.
I'm telling you, like you got to have expectations. I understand why a person would say that, but I also think like, no, just because certain people might have let you down does not mean. And I think this is something our parents say too, like itne high expectations, like don't have high expectations like that. Okay. But then I also feel like, no, like it's not that I'm like such a TV, but like I also feel like you should have a level of expectation from anybody.
I agree.
Like, why shouldn't you? Imagine you're like married to somebody and like they're not meeting the expectations at all, and you're just like, well, this is just my life now. Like, what?
I don't want that.
I don't want that either. No,
I think you should have expectations.
Yeah.
And I think maybe like quote unquote realistic expectations.
Yeah.
But I think that can change no matter what phase you are in your life.
Yeah.
And I definitely think, let's just say like if you're single at the moment right now, honestly, set good expectations for yourself as an individual.
Yeah.
Trust me, those are the kinds of people you will attract.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Somebody wrote, your friendship groups do not need to mix.
Oh, I actually agree with that.
I agree with that
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Because I just feel like I have like a bunch of different friend groups.
Yeah, same.
And like I don't feel like I need to mix them at all.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, but have you ever come across situations where you have mixed them and then like feelings get hurt?
I've come across situations where like, yeah, actually, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just like, I don't get why the feelings are hurt. But
Yeah.
like, yeah. Okay, I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. But I feel like my feelings are not getting hurt. If other people's feelings are getting hurt, to me, that's like, do I need this person in my life? Like that's how I would think of it. But I have lots of friend groups that are not, they don't really mix.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I think different friends, you have like different like experiences with them.
Yes.
Right? Like you have a group of friends that you've known since your like childhood or whatever, right? I have like friends that I've known since I was really, really young.
Yep.
I don't need to have them mix in like with other friend groups that I have.
And then here and there, if you do at like whatever wedding or whatever, bridal shower, baby shower, this, that, friend groups mix and that's fine. But I feel like it shouldn't be something on the regular.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's things that maybe, okay, for example, like there's certain friends I've noticed with a lot of other people that I know as well. There's certain friends that you can tell things to, that you're like, yo, this person is a lock.
Yeah.
They're not going to say nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's certain friends that you're like, these are like my fun friends that like, yeah, we see each other here and there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable telling them, not that they're not a lock. I just don't have that type of deep relationship with them.
Yep.
So I feel like, do you necessarily want them to mix? I wouldn't. I just want to keep it the way it is.
Yeah. I also have like work friends that are we're still friends. We're good friends.
Yeah.
I may not share the personal with them, but we go out, we have a good time. And it's like, do I really need to mix that with like a childhood friend?
You don't. You don't. It's also the same as like, okay, what if you get into a relationship and then your significant other has friends?
Yeah.
How do you mix into that? Like, do you need to make your friends with your husband's or your boyfriend's friends as well? I don't think you do.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
don't
it's just a different dynamic and you play it by ear.
Yeah.
And
I
you
think
see
like
what works.
if your husband has friends and let's say like the whole group is married or some are married or whatever, I think you join them.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have friends and then your husband joins that.
Yeah.
Like I think it's kind of like that. I don't think it necessarily has to like
I think
mishmash all into one.
I agree. I think so too.
Do not talk about your ex.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's a big one.
This is a real topic.
This is a big one. Yeah.
People have said, don't bring up your past. And other people are like, I don't know, maybe the honesty is the best policy. Like, where do you stand on that? I think it's so tricky.
This is the thing. I feel like if somebody asks you about it, right? Then be honest and tell them. Like, you're not going to be like, no, I never dated anybody. Then you're lying. And then if they find out later, then it's like, you lied to me. That's like a problem in itself. Because like these things, I feel like they would come out.
Right. Of course.
Right. And I feel like in the day and age that we're living in, like people have dated. So like, it's going to come out.
Okay. But what if it's like you have an excessive dating history?
Oh, like, are we talking body counts here? Or are we just talking about
We're talking a high body count. Then what do you do?
Oh man, see like that. Oh, I don't know.
The thing is, like, that's where your honesty can be a bit tricky. Like, what if you're with somebody who can't really accept that the person they're with has been with that many people?
But I would still say that like you should be honest.
I would think so too.
But I also think that like, okay, see, I feel like when it comes to thissies, maybe this is not just this. I'm not trying to generalize here, but this is from what I've gauged. Okay, that even with your parents, if your parents know that like you, for example, had a relationship in the past or a few relationships, I think sometimes even your parents are like, you don't need to share this information with everyone. Like I can see them saying that because it's like you don't need to tell the world about like what you were before. So I
Right.
get that too, because like let's say you were one of those people, girl or boy, where like you do have a high body count. Good Lord, what y'all doing out there? Okay, you have a high body count.
I blame the Ridgeway Plaza.
Okay, and then it's like you have, let's say you've completely changed your life and you're like, no, like I don't want to be that person anymore, or like I'm changed and like I really want to settle down. Then do you need to share it? It's kind of tricky.
It's tricky.
But then you also don't want to lie. Like,
there we go.
right?
That's
I
my
feel like,
issue.
I think honestly, like just be honest. Just be honest. If somebody asks you, just be honest.
And maybe it'll give you like an understanding of what the relationship will be like.
Yeah.
Like if you can't be honest with this person, then maybe it's not really
It's not the right thing for you then.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if that person is going to get so triggered by like a past relationship, then like what's going to happen in the future? Like,
And like, okay, well, let's say like you work, okay, and you have like male colleagues, and everybody goes out for like a Friday night, whatever dinner. Like, is your
and your
partner,
man's outside like looking
yeah, he's like,
oh my God. Can you imagine?
yo, it's
the
worse than your mom.
Oh my God. It's
Your mom
like
pulling
your
up
mom.
to prom.
It's like your mom. It's like.
I can't.
Oh, okay, yo, that
He's
is
gonna be like, who is paying for the bill? Who is she sitting next to? How close are they?
No.
Are their elbows touching?
no, like a guy should be so secure with who he is that he should never have to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he feels that way, it's like,
I think okay, so I like a little bit of jealousy here and there.
Yeah.
Is kind of it's kind of a fun spark in a relationship. Let's not lie.
100%.
Okay. But the overprotectiveness
Yeah.
is like a red flag.
to the point where it's like, where were you? I just checked on your app. You weren't here.
Yeah.
Like
Like
that
they're
can-
tracking your phone and like no, you have to share your passwords to everything. And
Stop this. Yeah.
if you don't genuinely want to share it and
Yeah.
you're being forced to share it, that's kind of scary.
That is scary to me, especially if it's like, come home now.
Yeah, that's
I would probably be like, hell no.
yeah.
I'm not coming.
Yeah. I'll be like, why
Gone
don't
forever.
He'll be like this.
Yeah, but you're so right. A little bit of jealousy is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice because then you're like, yeah, I'm still a hot commodity.
Still got it.
Got it. Okay, so someone wrote, use the last bit of toilet paper and not replace.
That's a do or a don't in a
I
relationship.
don't know, but like, have you done that?
no, man, I get so irritated.
I feel like I've done that.
Yo. That's a red flag.
Sometimes you're just like I have a million, I'm always like this. I have so many thoughts in my head that
Yeah.
I'm always like, I got to organize the thoughts in my head. And in the moment, I'm like, I got a million things to do. And so like, sometimes you forget. And
If
sometimes
I've
you're just
ever done
lazy.
it's like middle of the night, like a 3 a.m. bathroom run, and then I'm like, no, I need to get back into bed. I'll change this in the morning.
Oh, that's funny. It's almost like that when like the garbage can is like so overflowing and you're just like, I don't want to take the shit out. Like I'll just staple my banana peel to the top, and if it tips over, that person throws the garbage away. Like that to me is like, yo, taking the garbage out is like,
Okay, no.
oh, it's like big to my
Oh
existence.
my goodness. And I just can't like stand it. Oh my God, I can't stand. But you know
Yeah.
what I'm guilty of?
What?
I'll eat chips and I leave all the crumbs at the bottom and I put that chip bag back in the
I
pantry.
did too because I know like somebody will go like this and
I'm like, no, I can't finish all of this. Then I feel so guilty. I'm like, oh my God, I hate a whole bag of chips. So I
Yeah.
leave the crumbs so I don't feel so guilty.
or sometimes you're like, no, but you know what? I'm supposed to finish all the food. So if I throw these crumbs away, then that's like, I'm going to go to hell because I'm wasting food. So like, let's just leave the crumbs for someone else to finish.
I'm that person.
I'm that person too. I love how you, like when you're lazy, you make every excuse. Yo, I make every excuse in the book. Okay. Believe me. It's so funny.
Okay, the garbage thing is triggering though. I can't. You know why? It's because my sense of smell is like Spider-Man.
No, it is.
Like it's so heightened all
It's
the time. It's gross. And like I can't with the or like when somebody doesn't fill the humidifier and then you just run it at night, just be like, oh, there's a thoda sa pani hai. Let's run it. That's not how this works.
Oh my God.
Fill the humidifier, people.
Fill the humidifier, y'all.
One of them is don't go to bed angry. How do you feel about that?
I think, okay, I've heard that from so many people.
Yeah,
and
me
it's like,
too.
yeah, I understand you shouldn't because like every day is beautiful.
There's a
being
big
like, for
buck
the love
coming.
of God. Because I'm like, yo, like, can we not?
Yeah.
What if you're genuinely angry because someone really did something really mean?
Yeah.
Like, then what do? Then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I love you. And then like you wake up. Like, bro, like, what if this person is like really doing like messed up stuff?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna get angry at you. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Then I'm going to bed angry.
Yeah.
And I'm waking up angry too.
Yeah. You know what? And that's the thing. Like, again, I think it goes back to what you said earlier. Like, let's normalize the emotion of anger.
Yeah.
Okay. Because really, at the end of the day, as much as you want to not go to bed,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to bed, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not like I woke up saying, this is my goal for today.
Who wants to go to bed feeling like
Right?
that?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
But if you do, like, that means there's a bigger issue here.
Yeah,
And
I
you
agree.
got to work through your problems, and it's not going to go away in a day.
Yeah, it's not.
And I think that's the big takeaway.
I think so too. Like, I think that to me makes it feel like whatever problem you have, solve it that day. And it's just like some problems cannot be solved in that day.
Okay, what
like,
if you find out that your partner's cheating on you? You're going to tell me you're going to go to bed not angry?
can you
that
imagine just being like, it's okay.
night? कोई बात नहीं बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Right? No, like
Nah.
I think it's like you just can't say
can't.
that, right? And so many people say this damn line, and I'm like, okay, all right, fine. But it's also like maybe y'all didn't go through like real problems then.
Yeah, that's
like,
true too.
You know, but I also understand the purpose of saying it is probably like life is short and fragile. You don't know, tomorrow is not guaranteed, right? And the truth is that like, you know, when you do lose someone, you're like, yo, like I wish I could go back. You have all these regrets, right? But I also think that like, hey, if somebody is like hurting your feelings, right? Whether it's like a sibling or whatever it is, I think it's okay to be like, hey, like you really freaking upset me.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? I don't
Yeah.
understand. And then like they should also be thinking about this. Like, if anything, like, why are you always the one that's like, don't go to bed angry? That person should be like sitting there and being like, hey, like I messed up. Let me find a way to make it up to this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like everybody also processes their emotions
Exactly,
differently. So
exactly.
you can't expect somebody to just get over something in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I just, as I totally understand where that line comes from. I
Yeah.
understand that life is very short.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, sometimes you don't want to live with regrets. Sometimes you don't, that's not a great feeling either.
It's not, no.
But it's also very normal to go to bed angry. And I think sometimes, again, processing emotions or whatever in a relationship is actually very healthy.
I think so too. And sometimes like I'm the type of person that like I'm like a thinker.
Yeah.
Major thinker. So I feel like when I'm in bed, I'm thinking. I want to turn the thinking off, y'all, but it's just who I am. And I feel like even like when it comes to like being creative or like ideas, I think before I go to bed and I'm like writing things down and stuff. And so I feel like that's my time to process and think about things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I don't have to worry about, are the kids asleep? Have I made food? Or is their lunch ready for tomorrow? I don't have to worry about these things.
Yep.
Okay. Like I've already done everything and now I can sit and like ruminate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's okay. I think everyone just trying to survive out here, girl.
Yeah,
Just
it's
trying to
all good.
survive out here. Oh, one person said, don't make your wife live with your husband's parents because she needs her space. Did you see how I throw my phone down? Did y'all see? You need me to do it again? Because I will. This is so true.
Hina wants to play the marathon music at the end. Like,
swear.
this person wins. This person wins.
Let me give you the medal today. 100%. Okay. This is like a little bit unrelated to this specific. It is related to the topic, but like it's also like kind of goes off into like talking about like marriage, in-laws, all that stuff. You guys, like that is a very big thing.
It is a very
like,
big thing.
Let's not play here. I know our parents, they've always played it off like you should be there to support your spouse's parents, whichever side it is, because they have raised this person up. The reason he's here is because of his parents. 100% respect is key. But also, that does not mean you allow the disrespect either. Like if they're going to disrespect you, why? And also we've talked about this, 2 women in the kitchen, it's a disaster waiting to happen. The volcano is going to erupt, guys. It's going to erupt.
That's a real like WWE right there.
That is. You know there's a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
Like how do you expect that to happen? So I feel like honestly, if you want your relationship to have a chance, and I know there's amazing in-laws out there, just have some space. Build on your relationship. Focus on each other. Give yourself time. You don't need to include a whole other family in that. Give yourself time to like get to know each other and build on your relationship.
Look, there are also some situations, we're not saying all, but some situations where you have to live with your
Yes.
in-laws, okay? But then I feel like it should be a point on the husband
Yeah.
to set some boundaries.
Major boundaries.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think if you can openly have that conversation early on, it could be very successful.
100%.
Then both parties win.
I
Okay?
agree.
Because you're not going in there as like a foreign person and offending anybody.
Yeah.
Okay? But also you are not feeling offended
Yeah, I
by the way things run in the home.
I agree.
Right? We got to look at it both ways too. Like
100%.
if I am going into a random home, I don't know anything about anything. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like you don't know where anything is in the kitchen. You don't know what anybody eats, right? How is this underlying expectation that the bahu is going to come down and make nashta for everyone? How does that make sense when she doesn't even know if people have dietary restrictions?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can't even be yourself. You're always like a shyer version of yourself.
Yes.
Because you're just like, you're like tiptoeing around everyone, trying to figure out other people's like mannerisms, who they are, what they like, what they don't like. You know what? Which docky to use to clean the damn freaking counter. Like it's just.
Are we having chai? Is there a coffee machine in this room? Like
What's poppin'?
What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys eat eggs?
What time do you eat?
Are we having some parathe with achar?
Do you clean the house? You got a cleaner? What's
Do we
happening?
have where's the vacuum?
Is there a vacuum?
Who knows? Are we just doing a little jadu situation?
See all these questions that we've talked about.
Yeah.
But it's extremely confusing. So I think exactly what you're saying, Aruj, if the guy can just have like open communication and set boundaries. And the other thing is like if that guy can like be protective of his relationship with his wife and just be super supportive of her, I feel like that situation could work.
You know why? Because in that, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because he's respecting her.
Yeah.
And in return, both of you will respect your parents.
Absolutely.
And their space as well.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, like make sure there are like 2 TVs in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Because ain't nobody want to be
Watching Game of Thrones and your in-law walks in. Goodbye relationship. Goodbye everything.
So imagine your mother-in-law would be like, "Kya dekh rahe ho tum log?"
Like then you're gonna be doing one of those like change the channel. Oh my god, why do they put such nasty things on TV? Ugh.
Yeah, I'd be like, bury me now. Main to gayi hu, okay? Don't play the blame game.
Oh yeah.
Guys, we need to stop this.
Yeah, we really do.
He did this, she did this, I didn't do this, they did. Just stop.
I know.
And then the IOU list becomes extensive.
Yeah, it really does.
And I feel like in-laws might do this too, where they're like, oh, but like the blame game. Like my son never did this, but look, he got married and now they're doing this.
I hate that stuff so much. And it's also like the way the in-laws are just like, my son is so perfect. My son is so this. My son loves me so much. Look at everything my son's done. But it's like, yo, why can't you say that about your daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
Like say that stuff about your daughter-in-law.
Let's reciprocate that energy.
Because I feel like if somebody said that about like, you know, like, I mean, I'm thinking about my daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter gets married and like her mother-in-law's like, oh my God, she is like so great. And this and I would be like, I love you. Like, I love you. You're not even my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why can't you just have that same energy for like this girl who's taking care of your son? Like, that's, I think, where like, for me, it's like, it's just like the smallest things that you have to do. It's like the damn bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. It's a bare minimum.
Yaar, ek tareef hi de do hame.
Right? You know, I was watching
throw a dog a bone.
I was watching this like TikTok and the guy's like, yo, you know when you like freshly get married and then the mother-in-law and the father-in-law like, ye to bilkul hamari beti jis tarah hai. It's like you're about to have the worst time of your life. And I was like, facts. Like, you ain't gonna treat me like a daughter. Because 2 weeks later, the tane are gonna happen.
Like, damn,
इसने तो
Tani.
खाना ही नहीं बनाया 2 दिन हो गए इतनी देर तक सोती रहती है
ये तो कमरे से नहीं आती नीचे
12 बज गए हैं कुछ काम नहीं किया
तैयार होके नहीं आई
ये होटल नहीं है
हर वक्त बाहर खाना मंगवाते हैं
ये तो कभी घर ही नहीं होती she's always out my son used to stay at home all the time आवारा
दोस्तों के
घर
साथ हमारा घर
I'm telling you, like this is, or like it's like the little things that they just kind of flick in your face. It's so
no,
irritating.
and then you finally take the initiative to cook. Okay,
Yeah,
and
right?
you're gonna be like, you know what, fine, I'm
Yeah.
gonna set up a feast.
Yeah.
And then ऐसे क्यों कर रही हो? ये क्यों इस्तेमाल कर रही हो?
जिस तरह मैं बनाती हूँ ना, I usually मैं इसके अंदर ना मेथी डाल देती हूँ, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, thank you.
Or you do grocery and they're like, नहीं हम ये brand नहीं हम लाते.
Yeah. Oh. ये वाले चावल अच्छे चावल नहीं है.
आपने भिगोए हैं चावल?
It's everything.
ये frozen butter है या fresh?
Everything. Okay, it's every tiny thing that gets annihilated. And the son walks in and it's like, that brother don't even know how to fry an egg. He's boiling water. And the mom is like,
can't even
"Look
warm
at
his
how
food
well-
in the
Look at how
microwave."
well he boiled his water. Look, my son is so like, he's so involved in the house. He knows how to boil water. Like, are you kidding me?
Meanwhile, we're like, it's a kettle. Damn. The kettle is doing its job.
Too. Electric
He just
too,
pushed the
y'all.
button.
Come on now. This is some wild stuff. Jeez.
We just need I think everybody needs to learn to stop playing the blame game.
Yeah.
Okay. Give one another some grace in every relationship that you may have in your life. Even if you're a mom and you've got kids.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's really tough because your kids can trigger us.
Oh, 100%. I
Okay.
think they are the biggest triggers.
They are.
100%.
And they know exactly how to push your buttons.
Yeah, they do.
But I think if we could all learn to just take a step back, let's not play the blame game. Let's work on our emotions.
Yeah.
Hopefully that open communication is what's going to lead to successful relationships,
I think that's
right?
the main thing though, because like the open communication is the same with like in-law relationships and any other relationship. You really do have to find a way to talk to people that, and every person is different, right? Your approach to every person is different. So you have to find a way to be able to communicate with certain people. But I also think like when it comes to like marriage, husband, in-laws, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, it's really tricky because as a girl, you always have to like you're over analyzing in your mind that like, what if I say this and they react like this? Or like, what if I say this to my mother-in-law and then she doesn't like me anymore and she treats me badly? So like your thought process is so different. And like, I think sometimes like your spouse will be like, my mom's not like that. Like, oh my God, she's going to love you. And internally you're like, your mom loves you, but like, is she really going to love me?
Yeah.
Like, that's the truth. You just, cause you don't know. Cause a mother-in-law's relationship with the son, that's her blood. Like, you're not her blood. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Right. So like, I think sometimes you also have to like get like an inside man, usually your spouse, to help you out.
I also think when it comes to like husbands, like they really need to step up when it comes to like just setting good boundaries and being protective of their wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being protective of that relationship. If you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone,
Yeah.
make sure that it's good communication and make sure you're setting boundaries with your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think like, you know, if you have kids, always think of it like, would you ever want your kids in-laws to treat your kids like that? Because I think anytime you like tell a man like, oh, would you want like a woman to treat your daughter like this? They get so damn triggered.
Well,
But then it's like, yo, it's okay if like your mom or your dad say certain things. You know what I'm saying? So like always think of it that way. So the last thing we're going to do is support your wife's dreams. But I would say like support your husband or wife or any person that's in your live stream, whether it's a sister, a sibling, whoever it is. I would say support whatever they want to do.
I think so too.
Unless it's crazy, like dealing drugs, then don't support that. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I think if your sibling or if your kids, if they have an ambition or like if your mom, if they want to take on a hobby, right?
Yeah.
I think support it.
100%.
Right? Like, I don't think that, okay, sometimes you have people in your life that have to be reasonable all the time.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And that's great. But if you're gonna wear that hat, also understand the passion that your sibling or your daughter or your dad or somebody has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
But I definitely think the support needs to be there.
I think the support needs to be there as well. And like, it is like the cutest thing to me when like a wife starts a business or like she does something and the husband is like, he'll go out and he'll be like at an event, he'll be like, yeah, by the way, like this is my wife's podcast. Like, you guys need to follow her. Like, he's telling his boys and you're just like, he's the one.
He's a real one.
You know what I mean? So I feel like always do stuff like that because I think it goes both ways. And I think if anything, it like really strengthens your relationship and it just shows how much that person loves you.
And we've said it time and time again. The talent is real in the community.
Talent is real.
You guys got to act on those passions. And like, if you have a support system, like if your siblings support you, if your parents support you,
if your
friends support you, trust me, that passion is gonna grow.
Yeah, it is. Just like how we always appreciate you guys watching and supporting. Like it means so much to us. I feel like we say it all the time, but genuinely speaking, it is like like reading your comments, your DMs to us, like all the support we get. It is so greatly appreciated. We truly love you guys a lot. And we're so, so grateful to have like such an amazing support system around us.
Love it.
Yeah, we love it.
We thrive on it.
We thrive on it.
And we try to respond as much as we can.
Absolutely. So that's our episode for today, you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. We have all of our socials listed below. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you guys give us that 5-star. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.